So today's cover story is about the Scramble of Africa, which was the occupation, division, and colonization of African territory. So basically, a country, most likely a European country, would come into Africa and take occupy a certain area, and then they would begin to control the people there and control the economy or the social factors, maybe change the religion or change the language, and then begin to colonize and change the African country to be more like the European country who was occupying it. Hi, I'm Lily, reporting live from New York City, bringing you your daily news. Today we're going to talk about imperialism, especially Spain's involvement in that, and the scramble for Africa. So Spain took over Western Sahara and Guinea Equatorial. They had control from 1870 to about 1970. Of course, Spain tried to make money, and they did have profits, but it wasn't anything like super amazing, and they didn't make a ton of money from it. But we have Zoya, our African witness, who can speak to the conditions in Africa.
Well, during this time, our rights were taken away. We weren't allowed to buy any alcohol or any property, and just everything was taken away from us that we originally had, and we didn't have any power in the society like we did before, and we had no say. Really what was happening in the labor was made to be similar to what slavery was, when we were only given enough for it to not be considered slavery. So it was just really hard for our country and our people, and we tried to rebel in 1921, but it didn't work, and we didn't obtain freedom.
So looking into the present, how have there been lasting impacts of imperialism today?
Well, today there are still Spanish speakers in Guinea Equatorial, and that's pretty much the only impact, because after winning our independence, we tried to come back to our original culture and like celebrations and traditions that we originally had. But yeah, Spanish still is our official language.
Great, thanks for joining us today. Now we are back, but we have Maria, a European from Spain, who is going to help us understand why Spain decided to take part in the Scramble for Africa.
Well, you see, our country simply wanted to gain more wealth. As soon as we found out Africa had an abundance of gold, we decided to take part in the Scramble for Africa.
Tell me more about the resources you found and what was useful in Africa.
Well, we found a lot of gold and silver, cocoa and lumber, and we had a large workforce, mostly of natives. There was also a lot of exchanging and selling with our ports and trade routes all over.
So tell me a little bit more about how your country first came to rule and how they ruled after getting control.
Well, unfortunately, it took a little bit to take over the African countries that we were interested in. We first tried to get in around the late 19th century, and once we finally got control, it was very difficult to keep it. For a while, we were able to keep track of the land and people, but after a while, the people became frustrated with our ruling style due to the conditions we put in place, such as long workdays and harsh treatments. Alfonso XIII, our ruler, didn't put as much force or effort into cultivating the territory as other rulers of European countries did, and because of this, we did not reach all of our goals or obtain and maximize the very vulnerable and useful land.
Now we have Alfonso XIII, who was the ruler of Spain at the time, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about what it was like during the age of imperialism.
We wanted to make some money, and I was very interested in Africa because all of our neighboring countries were going. However, we weren't as successful as I thought.